Hello, Herkimer County. This is Michele Hummel with the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce. It's been a couple of weeks, so I know we were trying to do this every 2 weeks, and then I started to do every week. Got excited, obviously. So we took a little bit of a hiatus because, summertime and people have things to do. But I'm back here today with our producer, Dave Warner.
Hello, how are you doing?
Great.
Beautiful day again. We've had a good summer so far.
Yeah,
so it's looking nice out there.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
And I'm awfully pleased to introduce Mayor Mark Blask of Little Falls.
Hey, Michelle and Dave. It's really nice being here with you. I'm so excited that you're doing this. Once I saw maybe a month or two ago that it was going to be a thing, I really thought it was a great idea. So
thanks.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's been really fun. When we started, I was nervous and didn't know if I could do it, but now it's one of my favorite things to do. So here we are.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, piece of cake. I just wing it.
Yeah. That's why all those notes, right?
Yeah, well, those are dates I need to remember.
Okay. Right.
It says eggs, cheese.
That would be a text to my husband for on the way home. But so anyway, I so many wonderful things happening in Little Falls. I want to go all the way back, and I hate to use the word pandemic because it's almost a swear word now. But I commend you for all that you did for your own city and all the surrounding areas during the pandemic. I brought my own grandchildren and whole family to the drive-in movies, so thank you very much for that.
No, that's very nice of you to say. And timing-wise, I'm not sure it's true with you guys. You just lose years, right? It's
I do.
When did the pandemic start? Was it 2 years? Was it 3? We're sort of still in it. So it's funny, when you say drive-in theater, I immediately go back to that March of that year. But it just seems like it was 10 years ago.
It does now.
But that idea was sort of indicative of a quote-unquote Little Falls idea, where somebody came up with it, and then 3 different groups came together to sort of piece it together. And it was really successful. We got to show movies. We built the set up there behind the Little League field. DPW did a great job. Main Street First was involved. Obviously, the city engineer is always involved. Dave and Deborah, just everything really just came together. It was a positive. And then, not to just jump into something else, but sort of like the skating rink, where it ends up just being relatively easy from a municipal standpoint. We had to freeze water. And,
in winter.
Why not?
Right now it would be tough. But
in central New York in December, we had to try to get water frozen, but not minimizing it. But people really enjoyed that as well. So I'm glad to sort of represent a place where those ideas happen.
And it's grown quite a bit, too. I mean, the first pandemic year, as we remember back, but then the next year after that got even better.
Now it's something.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And that's a great point, Dave, because last year we just added to it, right? We added the music. You could go inside. Through a couple of other grants that we received. And it's funny, just the things that you learn as you're trying to put it together. The skates that were donated, it was 80 pair of skates.
That's
and when
cool.
we got them, they were unsharpened. We didn't know new skates are unsharpened, and we were getting ready to open. So we just hooked up with Rob Esch up at the Utica Comets. Hey, Rob, really need a favor. And he's like, bring those things here. So, put a couple of DPW guys in a truck.
All the skates.
You're going to Utica, you're coming back with sharp skates.
That's
it's just
cool.
one of those
Fantastic.
things we don't learn until the end.
Our community pulls together so beautifully.
Yeah.
It does.
That was a really long answer to a short
Oh,
question.
no, there are no wrong
That's all
answers,
right.
that's for sure.
No, I said long. It obviously wasn't wrong. It was spot on.
It was, yeah. So so many other things are going on here. You won a DRI grant, which is downtown revitalization, for those of you listeners that don't know what DRI is. And that's no small feat. You have to do an awful lot of prep work. You have to identify projects in advance. Could you maybe give just a high-level overview of what the preparation work goes into for even coming to the starting line of a DRI?
So it probably started, Dave could probably tell you better than me, maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, maybe almost 3. We knew the DRI was out, right? So they're in the 6th round. So they take 10 communities in New York State, and you get $10 million. Downtown Revitalization Initiative. So it's really in their 6th year, probably year 3 or 4. We sort of, we're talking about applying The first year we didn't think we were ready. It was just too soon. We wanted to put together an application that made sense and we could really stand behind. So it probably took, again, this is pandemic time. Dave and Deborah worked on it maybe over a year. How long was that, Dave?
About 18 months.
18 months,
Yeah.
almost 2 years to sort of perfect this application. Videos, public meetings, and that's one of the things in Little Falls. People will come out and give their input. They're going to come out. They're going to tell you what they think.
Yeah,
And
for those of you listening, the secret sauce in Little Falls are the people. You can rally.
Absolutely. So put in the application, then we were awarded in December of this year, one of the smaller communities. I mean, when you see the list of winners, Rochester, Manhattan, Syracuse, it's sort of all these bigger dogs, right? And then you go down to 5,000 people. So we were proud of that. And it being our first application, like we were 1 for 1, which really spoke to the strength of the application. Yeah, so then we just started. I mean, our first meeting was 2 weeks later. We met every Friday for 7 months, sort of developing projects, getting input. You know, we went to the high school 3 different times, talking to the kids. What do you want to see? Here's 10 fake $1 million. Here are all the projects on the board. Go spend it. What do you want? To Rotary, you know, we had 7 meetings, open meetings. A lot of people gave their input. And then at the end of the day, just about 2 weeks ago, we provided the state with an SIP, a strategic investment plan, which contains the projects that we would like. It's about $15 million worth of projects, and then they will cull that down to about $9.7 million. So in November, the state will come back and say, hey, Little Falls, these are the projects that you can do.
Okay.
And then truly it becomes fast moving after that. Contracts will be signed in January. They want shovel-ready projects, so these aren't sort of pie in the sky. Oh, we would like a water park up on a hill. Nope, these are things that have been engineered, costed out to current dollars. Architects have been involved. They've really been looked at.
So they're already part of a greater master plan.
Generally, correct. Absolutely.
It would just take you much, much longer to accomplish the goal if you hadn't received the grant.
And things are so expensive, Michelle. I mean, one of the projects is the canopy. People like the canopy, but they want a new one. So this was one of the projects. It's $2.2 million. It's a new canopy that just makes sense. It was mid-'70s once this was built. We like it. We just need it upgraded. So I'm really pumped for that particular project, and hopefully it gets selected.
It's so unique to Little Falls. It's wonderful to be able to walk down, rain or shine, and you've got some covering over your head if you want to pop in, grab a slice of pizza, or stop at a pub.
I remember a cheese festival maybe 3 or 4 years ago where it was a biblical rain. All of a sudden, it was a deluge. And the fact that people could take 10 steps to their right and really make friends underneath the canopy with 5,000 others. It was cool. And then the sun came back out, but things like that. People like the canopy.
It was good if you were carrying camera equipment.
Yes, you could set up there, Dave.
It was quick refuge.
Yes. And even when we got the movie here, A Quiet Place, they really liked the way downtown looked, especially standing down by School Street looking up towards City Hall because of the canopy. They thought that it was a unique look and just sort of the way the valley envelopes Main Street.
It's beautiful.
So,
Yeah.
So that's the DRI. It's and I really just chat the city engineer. We had a common council meeting last night, and we talked about sort of the last everything that needed to go into this, and just the work that he did basically daily. Like Chet Szymanski is our city engineer. And he gets piled on, and I give him more work. And I've talked to him twice this morning and texted him 3 times. There's always more on his plate, but he really sort of hit a home run with this, with his work. And obviously, application-wise, we don't get here if it's not for Dave and Deborah's work over 18 months. I mean, just an absolute home run.
A true collaboration. Yeah. So, if you were to give advice to another municipality or, city that's looking to
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'll let you know in 4 months.
In 4 months. Okay.
I think really, you talk about secret sauce. I think that you cannot overvalue relationships. It's absolutely true. From the state level, from different levels of government, you already have to know the decision makers. As my father said a week after I was elected 7 years ago. The first time you meet somebody should not be when you're asking them for something.
Right.
Go meet Jim Seward. Go meet your assemblyman. Go to Albany. Just so when they hear Little Falls, it's not like, oh man, they're looking for a new bridge. Everybody's looking for a new bridge. It's like, no, we hit a golf ball, or we talked about the Yankee pitching or something, where I just think the relationship value is really important. These are people making these decisions. So
right.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's so important. It is. And if you're like me, you form the relationship, you ask, they say no, you ask again, they say no, you ask again, and maybe you get a yes. I'm resilient, if
Yes,
nothing
and then
else.
there's a restraining order.
Could be. But so that's wonderful. So you said 4 months?
Yeah. Hopefully November. They said a late fall. So
Okay. So is there some large, are you planning an event for a large kickoff of the first project?
it depends what it is, really. And we're going to need to scale these because some are public projects. You know, we're looking for money for City Hall. The library has a good project in that made the cut. So there are city projects, the park, Sturzner Park, a new dog park. But then there are private projects. So, I mean, it's going to be up to those people, like Mark Regan down at the Powerhouse has a really good project that made it, just some work he wants to do down there. So it really depends on the size and the scope. And then the city is going to have to be smart as far as implementation, because it's one thing to get the grant, it's another thing to administer it. We can't screw this up. Like this year, we would have normally applied for a CFA grant, just another state grant, but we wanted to be singularly focused on not gooning up the $10 million DRI. Mm-hmm. We'll have time another day for another CFA grant. We'll chase more money, but let's get this right.
Yeah, there's a lot of reporting and things on the back end.
There absolutely is.
Yeah. So now, is there any impact, or maybe you could elaborate on, does this impact the taxpayers at all?
It would only potentially be positive with some of the larger projects would obviously be paying taxes. So certainly no negative impact. As we talk about grants, we always talk about percentages and matches. Is it a 50-50 grant? Is it 70-25 where the city has to come up with 25%? DRI money is great because it's 100% state money. We don't put up any money. We don't use man hours for a match. It's 100% state money, which is good. So having said that, there wouldn't be any negative impact on taxpayers. It would only be positive. I mean, the largest project is right on Main Street. It's called the Dairyman. It's new apartment buildings where the M&T Bank is, right there on Main Street. I mean, 75 new apartments. It's a $27 million project. It's pretty incredible. So, I mean, if they get the money for that and that moves forward,
Sure.
It's only going to potentially help the city of Little Falls.
So that housing, what type of housing will it be? Will it be assisted, handicap accessible, open to the public?
Yeah, it's going to be up to them. I mean, they're going to be a private company that owns it,
Okay.
and however they want to go. We're a little early in the game. We had a meeting yesterday with them, the city engineer and myself, just talking about the roadmap, how to get there, permitting and variances for zoning and sort of all of the sausage making that comes with municipal government, just to make sure that when you start a large project, just make sure that you don't miss 1, 2, and 3 and just skip to 4. They're a tremendous company to work with, so I'm not worried about anything. To answer your larger question, is there any hit for the Little Falls taxpayer? Absolutely not.
Great. Yeah, so it's a win-win all the
it
way
sure
around.
is. And that's why people vie for it. I mean, I was talking to some other mayors at a conference, and they were giving me a little bit of S. They're like, we're 0 for 5, dude. We do this every year. And, we saw, where's Little Falls again? I mean, I was like, sorry.
I think that's great. There's so
it's
much
a pretty
potential
popular
here.
one.
Yeah. What about other things that are happening outside of the DRI?
So Canal Day is next week. People like it. There's a huge class reunion. It's one of those small community events that people really enjoy. Hopefully it's good weather. There'll be a parade here in 9 days. So on the 12th, we'll go right down Main Street. It's a pretty long parade. People seem to really enjoy that. They come out for it. It'll be interesting, Dave, to see what numbers we get for that. like sort of on the parade route.
That one's harder to count because, like for Cheese Festival, it's all that one area, and you can get a drone up and they can basically figure out how many people. This, with people on Albany Street and everywhere else, it's a little bit tougher to count the crowd, but it's thousands that are there. Yeah.
It's really cool. So we'll just go right down and do the parade route. They do it every year. I should probably know what year this is, 35, 36? That's just
This is the 35th. For Canal Celebration, it's 35th.
35th year for Canal Celebration. And thanks to everybody. I mean, Pat Stock does a lot of work here, Tony DeLuca. There are, again, groups of people in Little Falls who give their time, their money, and their energy for cool events. And really their payback is very little. It's satisfaction. It's a thank you. It's just indicative of how lucky we are to live here because there are people like that.
All traffic is good traffic. It is. It is. So on that note, I think we are time for a break, and we're going to break for just 1 minute, and we'll be right back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
You're fast on the gun there.
I am. I don't follow rules.
Yeah, I noticed.
So, welcome back, everybody. We're here with Mayor Mark Blask from the city of Little Falls. One thing I do want to touch on a little bit, and this I would be remiss if I didn't make mention of Anna LaBella. She recently, those folks that are from Ilion know this near and dear to their hearts. A young girl, 12 years old, and she just lost her life to cancer. It was very, very sad. It just an outpouring of people just supported their family so much in our community, which is a beautiful thing. Yesterday, they were doing a parade for her in her honor, and unfortunately she wasn't able to be there. She did pass away, but they moved forward with the parade. And what took me back and makes me so proud to be part of this community and living here is just how everybody from the entire region came out. There were no lines. There was no, this is the Herkimer, these are the Mohawk people, these are the Frankfurt people. Everybody was just out together as one. And I will say we rally together often in times of need. But, that said, in times where it's not just need, how do you view your partnerships with other townships and municipalities?
Sure. Just to talk about Anna real quick, and I'm glad you brought that up, Michelle. It's one of those just heartbreaking, right? I mean, it's a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll stop you in your tracks. You can't even think. I mean,
cancer's a bitch.
It is just absolutely heartbreaking. But then to your other point of people coming together in the valley, regardless of 10 different other reasons. They may not agree on politics. They may be in different socioeconomic classes. They may not know each other. Somebody might be from Little Falls, Frankfurt, Ilion. But at that point, it doesn't matter. And I just think, I agree. I saw sort of the number of people, and it is absolutely remarkable. But for this area, not tremendously surprising, right?
Right.
There are pluses and minuses for living in a smaller area, and that's certainly one of the pluses. But for Anna and her family, it's just
our thoughts are with you. I did need to mention that, but it breaks our heart, and our thoughts are with you. And just know that we've got prayers sending your way. So.
Yes. Oh, and your question was about relationships.
Yes, relationships with other townships, municipalities in our region.
Almost in my 7th year, and so different mayors in different places have come and gone, and So that has been really interesting because sometimes it ends up being sort of a fiefdom, right, where you just worry about your own. But that can be sort of dangerous, right? Because if Herkimer, Ilion, and Frankfort do well in Dolgeville, guess what? Little Falls is going to do well. So just selfishly, the rising tide's going to lift all the boats, obviously. But from a personal level, like nobody is getting rich off this. Like if you run for elected office in the Valley, you're making next to no money. Like gas money to go to Albany and back, you're in the hole for the year. And just the fact that you're spending so much time and energy, like it's easier to do nothing because there's obviously grief involved. You can get a $10 million DRI grant, but the next day, if your DPW guy cracks a recycling bin, that is more important to that person than that stinking money. Because guess what? What do I do with my cans? Because it's truly like these are all. So there are a lot of people who will give their opinion on how things should be, which is absolutely fine. It's the system that we're under, but just it's not easy to run for office just because you get pulled in a lot of different directions. You're going to make omelets. You're going to break some eggs. People are going to get mad at you. You just have to decide how much of that you can take. When I was going to run, I sat down with my dad before I had decided, and I just retired from the Navy, so I just came back home after being gone for almost 28 years. And I said, Dad, I'm thinking of running for mayor. And he said, why? Do you have too many friends? A line that I've always appreciated. First, it was hilarious because he's really funny. But it just hit him immediately. Like, don't do this because just retire. Just hit golf balls and let's drink coffee and let's do stuff. But then you just sort of want to get involved. So getting back to relationships, I just appreciate anybody who does it. And this isn't a Mark Blask thing. This is a Dana Sherry thing. Dana Sherry, this is John Stevens. This is Rick Adams in Frankfort. This is anybody who sort of puts their hand up. You get the petitions, you run a campaign, you get elected, but then really the work starts. And you're sort of held to, people are tough graders, and they should be. We should expect a lot. So I talk to the other mayors all the time. We have sort of our own group, and we just bounce ideas of each other. We certainly don't agree all the time, maybe even half because we're in different situations, but I really appreciate those relationships. And then with the county as well. I talk to Jim Wallace and Jim, and, we just try to get through this together. In Herkimer County, there's 62,000 people. Right. We're not huge. As you were talking about the people who showed up for Anna's event, it didn't matter where they were from. It's also nice to think of Herkimer County as a place without lines on a map. City of Little Falls, town of Little Falls, that's basically the same thing. East Herkimer, that's basically the same thing. So what does it matter where specifically you live? Like a success in the region it could be up in Old Forge, and it's truly going to help people down here. So I always like sort of the larger thinking. It's too easy to sort of just, build a small corral.
Yeah, silos are the worst thing that could possibly happen.
And it's easy to fall into because somebody will make you mad. Somebody in county government's going to tick you off, and you're going to be like, nope, I'm going to worry about us. I'm done. But then you just sort of, have to get over that and just move on.
Yeah, the getting over it is the key,
sure.
I think. Yeah. I've seen too many times where folks just don't get over it and they can't move forward. And you have to, everyone has to get along in the sandbox, as they say.
And the state level. Like I speak to a lot of mayors. I'm on the executive committee for New York Conference of Mayors. So there are 8 of us on the executive committee and talking about big dogs and small dogs. So the other members are Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, mayor of Albany, Ben Walsh, mayor of Syracuse, mayor of Rochester, and Ruth Ann from Hamilton, out in Buffalo, and then Little Falls. It's just, so when we have a meeting, we talk about mayor things, but guess what? There are 8 million people in Manhattan or in New York City, and there are 5,000 in Little Falls.
Right, completely
but
different.
It's nice sort of to be at that table. And and I appreciate the opportunity to be there.
Yeah, it's a think tank. It's the power of numbers, and that will work definitely. Collective wisdom, if you will. So,
We're trying to get a train here, Michelle.
Oh.
We are trying to
Yeah.
get a train.
I was gonna ask
Not just
you.
a train station. We have trains.
So there.
It could have been like yesterday, though, where they canceled Amtrak, everything west from Albany.
I
Did you
was
hear about
hoping
that?
they were waiting for us, Dave.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
that-
Okay.
We will not run west until Little
Falls has a
Exactly.
station.
They're making a
And
stand.
then they just
Yeah.
stand there and fold their arms like a child,
Yeah.
a petulant child, absolutely. So we've been working on it for
let's talk about that.
about 18 months. There used to be one many moons ago, and it just makes sense. Passenger rail is coming. It's cleaner, it's faster, it's safer. Like, we're going to get to the point where we're going to be riding more trains. So why not sort of speed up that process to the best that you can? So Martin Babnick hired a consultant, and we've been working with him for about 18 months. We've had a lot of progress. We've sort of built this coalition of people who would benefit from the train, from Glimmer Glass to Jackie Izzo in Rome to everybody sort of out west. And now we're at the stage where the architects are designing and making sure that it would be in the place that makes the most sense. It's been a while. There's some switching. There's some no-kidding engineering that needs to go on. How high the platform, ADA, they want 10 feet on this side. All of that is sort of updated. So we're doing the nuts and bolts. Saratoga Associates is doing that work, and they're going to give us a report, sort of like the gladiators, thumbs up, thumbs down. If it's thumbs up, these are the two spots it could go. So once we get that report, then we'll just, continue that work.
I think that's fantastic. Hopping on a train, and going to New York City.
Can you imagine?
do
Go to
driving.
Cuse for a Syracuse game or down to a Yankee game. Because right now, what do? You go to Rensselaer.
You're right.
It's 70 miles, and then you go there and you park, and then you head down to the city. Or you just keep going down to Poughkeepsie, another hour. You pick a spot that's not here, but the technology is such now. It's ticketless. It's on your phone. There are less workers. They will know if a ticketed passenger is there waiting. And it doesn't even have to be all the time service, right? They do it for the state fair, seasonal. So these are all things that can be worked out.
And think about the business it would bring as well.
Oh, it's an absolute game changer. It's an absolute game changer. I went and testified up in Albany on this topic last fall, and it was head of Amtrak, CSX, and myself in front of a committee right in Albany with the Assembly, and just made sort of a straight-faced argument why Little Falls is perfect for this, and just sort of, it has to be data-driven. It can't just be, these are businesses. Amtrak is not stopping because we're nice people or we have an awesome cheese festival. It has to make sense for their bottom line. So you just have to make other arguments. And again, let's wrap in relationships. It's all of that stuff is important.
So we're talking travel. So you have the Travel Lodge here. Is there any thought? And of course, there's the beautiful boutique rooms that are down on Canal Side or Canal Place. Is there any thought of bringing a larger chain type of hotel to the area?
Not larger, but smaller boutique hotels.
Okay.
So some buildings are being looked at now that would just be ideal for that.
I think that would be
but nothing
great.
larger. But
Well, and you do have the hospital right here, so doctors coming into
Sure.
town, visiting nurses, or anybody.
the golf course, bowling alley, theater, a great hospital. So it's sort of everything in a smaller area. The thing about Little Falls, though, is the walkability. Everybody always says that, and it's important. I'm not making fun of others in the valley, but I just think we're fortunate. We say that we were born on the water, but it's true. We have the canal. We have the Mohawk River. You could walk there from Dave's house right now and be there in 8 minutes. And guess
Right.
what? That's a cool walk. You're going to see trees. You're going to get down there. You're going to get ice cream or pizza and keep walking. And then there's two, go right. You can go to Moss Island and see some climbers. The walkability of Little Falls is a plus. So we sort of never want to forget that.
Yeah, I agree. It is beautiful. And then in the fall, you have such
Love it.
beautiful, absolutely gorgeous views.
And we're obviously blessed with a good school system. Like Little Falls schools are great. Like that's widely accepted that we have a tremendous school system from Dr. Levantino all the way down with Leanne Dooley, principal, Maria Lindsay, Bart Tooley. Like we have a great relationship with them. So the only way that Little Falls, gets optimized is having those relationships, because the school is a huge part of this. People will move here because of the school. So it's up to the city not to screw it up. Make sure we fill in potholes, make sure that we get the snow off as soon as possible, take care of the services.
True. I have friends that relocated, just like a lot of folks. They left, they came back, they chose this area. They chose Little Falls specifically because they enjoyed the school district, and they have several children.
Yeah. So with Canal Days, all of these events where Dave will tell you just sort of come about differently. The road race, I always talk about this because I think it's a microcosm of how things should work. Just a couple years ago, Rob Richard, he's a local guy. He's like, Mark, there's nothing to do on Thanksgiving. There's football, there's families in town, but there's really not activity. I said, what do you guys?
Football is nothing? Come on.
Exactly.
It doesn't start till later in the day, right?
Yeah. The Lions, 12:30.
Not like anybody knows that.
No. He said, I want to do a road race. I said, what do you need? He said, we need a police officer so nobody gets drilled. You got it. So the first year, thrown together relatively quickly. I think he got like 30 or 35 runners. It was sort of, close to November. The next year, he had to close it down because he had too many runners. What
That's
did the
great.
city government do? Say yes to a police officer and then get the hell out of the way. Like sometimes, government is not the solution, it's the problem most times. So you just have to realize to just say yes and take 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to do a barbecue and blues festival, Dave? Oh, what do you need?
Bluegrass and barbecue.
Right. What does the city have to do? We have to close a couple of streets and put out picnic tables and pick up trash. Okay, that's real easy.
Right.
We're obvious. The whole
Shameless plug, September 17th.
September 17th.
12 to 8.
Yes.
All right.
Which will probably be like 11 weeks before the Lions game at 12:30. Exactly right.
Who's counting?
Right.
Nobody.
But I think it's sort of this mindset. We talk about it in City Hall. We talked about it with the department head yesterday. The answer is yes. What's the question? Just get in the mindset of saying yes. You can come up with reasons not to do something. We don't have insurance. There's not enough parking.
We have insurance.
All of those things. could
For
be
all
solved.
these things. I talked to somebody else in the valley. We should have ice skating. Well, did you talk to your mayor? Well, they said that it's an insurance thing. What if somebody falls? And okay, I don't know what to do. You can always get, there are 10 no's, right? We don't have the time. It's not in the budget. That's an easy one. Normally they go insurance one, that's the default no. And then you say we don't have the money for it. There's grant money.
Oh,
you could volunteers.
Yeah.
Who gets paid in Little Falls? Not very many people. Not very many people.
Yeah.
And then Rob will have that same road race this year, and it'll be swag and T-shirts, and it'll be blown up. And then little people will be coming from the valley to go to Little Falls.
Absolutely.
And then
Yeah.
there's the
And
people,
we just didn't goon it up. We just didn't give a really dumb answer of no.
Right.
That's all.
You have to have an open mind. And the fear of the unknown is just not an excuse to say no. You need to do your legwork, your research, and have that open mindset.
What were you going to say, Dave?
I was just going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. I was not talking about bluegrass again, but I
Oh,
was just, I
see,
just keep
he's
plugging
still
it.
plugging. He's still plugging.
I can't help it. No, I was going to say that
One-trick
there's people who actually volunteer to give money to help these things happen too. So it's not just that they volunteer their time, but they write checks.
That's when you find someone
Yeah.
like me who's not afraid of the no,
Yes.
and you ask.
Absolutely true, because success begets success. The music last year for skating came because somebody said, I saw that you did it last year. How much do you need? So Chet Szymanski talked to Big Apple Music in Utica, designed a music system, and it was X amount of dollars. We went back to these people. This is how much it was, and they cut us a check.
Yeah.
Because the year previous, we didn't screw it up and we did something cool. So they came out of the woodworks. We didn't go seeking that grant. It was a private individual. I want to help. Don't talk about my name. Okay, and
Fair
thank
enough.
you, and thank you,
And there's a
thank
lot
you.
of people like that too.
Yeah,
Sure,
there are.
absolutely.
There
But
are.
they also have to trust that you're not going to screw it up, right? Where it's not just going to get off the rails.
Yeah.
What did I give my money to? Right. It's
Oh, you
just
got to
gonna
have
be
a plan in place, certainly.
Like last year, they did the world record charcuterie board.
That was cool.
You know,
That's a neat
up
idea.
at Vets. And again, we picked up trash and we said yes, and we may have helped with some electricity. I don't even remember, but I mean, the pictures from that were so cool. But it was such a unique event, and I'm cool that it's associated with Little Falls. I mean, Guinness Book of World Record, the longest charcuterie board. Shout out to 315 Foodies, Preston Moore, Mike Casella, who just did an amazing job with this.
It was cool. That was a lot of fun.
And they're Herkimer guys. They could have done it anywhere. They did it in Little Falls, and we're appreciative.
Great. Well, are there any other things you think that we should know? What don't we know about Little Falls that we should know?
Wait, have we talked about barbecue and blues yet? I can't
Bluegrass,
September
brews, and
17th,
barbecue. My God.
Have we talked about that? Yes, we have. I'm trying to think if there's anything
Garlic
else.
Festival. We didn't bring up garlic.
yes.
If we don't say that, jeez.
Before we get to garlic, let's get to cheese real quick. So it'll be back in October this year.
Yeah, October
So it used
1st,
to be July during the summer, and they moved it last year. It's a perfect fall event. I'm glad that
It
they
is.
made that decision.
With the cheese and it's hot
Cheese
out.
is such a great event. It's fall. You were talking about how nice the valley is. You get to actually witness it. So that's such a cool event. And then garlic in September. I love Garlic Festival. It's right, obviously, down by Canal Place, Sturzner Park. They do such a wonderful job. People love those events. And, I mean, it's just year after year. It gets a little bit bigger. It gets a little bit better. But they have really I mean, that's a master's class in how to run a festival, both of those. I mean, it's just butter. It is just goes. It's just so smooth.
Beautiful.
And people leave Little Falls and they just go spread the word. And
They do. And, you know, to that point, I will say that the Chamber of Commerce this year, I've noticed that there is a gap with souvenirs. There are no souvenirs. So we're going to come, and we can't be part of the Cheese Festival because we don't sell food. You don't want me to make food and sell it. You don't.
Please.
But we are going to be selling some souvenirs that are specific to Herkimer County. So when somebody comes, they can grab that refrigerator magnet or whatever the case may be and take it back home with them so that they'll remember the time that they were here in Little Falls or wherever in southern Herkimer County that we are.
How funny would it be if you insisted on making food and they didn't want to tell you no, but they just told you the wrong weekend?
Yeah, well,
so like you showed up like October 12th and you're the only one on Main Street.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Hey, you never know.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so
but I have this pie.
I'm just going to slice it up for everyone. But that's something that the Chamber of Commerce is going to do this year, just on a small scale.
It's a great
but
idea.
I think that there's a need for it, and we want to promote. We want people to make memories while they're here and take them back with them so they can show somebody else and come back and visit
Which
again.
they could do at the Little Falls Present Store down at Stone Mill.
Not to take away from that, but this will be like a street vendor kind of thing.
Another shameless plug.
Yeah.
Oh, and Michelle, I did want to talk about real quick because I just think it's cool. The summer recreation program we have here, it's super popular. So it's free. We give you lunch. You show up in the morning. There's movies. They'll walk you right down from Monroe Street Field down to the movies every Wednesday. They trip to Enchanted Forest. They do some day trips. There's over 100 kids who participate in that. Kickball, crafts. We have a large staff up there of 17 and 18-year-olds, and it's just such a really popular program. We did tennis lessons this year. Those were free on Tuesdays and Thursdays up at Vets. The feedback from that was tremendous. Second year in a row, we did free golf lessons, Golf for Life up at the Muni. Blaze and Ken Carrig. They bought brand new golf clubs for all the kids, and they're up there. And now, because they took that lesson, they could golf free all summer.
Right.
And it's just these lifetime sports. It's important to get young kids into them, and hopefully they like them, and then their parents can go up, and they can just sort of keep things moving as far as those sports. So I always like to highlight the recreation program because we're super proud of it. Tony DeLuca runs that like a damn champion. I mean, he's done it for years, and he crushes that.
That's right in his wheelhouse.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, you're blessed to have him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you are. So, well, that said, I do actually, before we part, and I'm going to direct this towards you too, so you know, on August 26th, it's a Friday this year, we are having our Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce golf tournament, which is the most fun tournament anyone will golf in all year.
It is kind of fun.
It really is. We have things to do on every single hole. You know, maybe that's a little overkill, but people seem to really like it. And we've got, more hospitality tents than ever, new games, brand new. So, again, if anybody out there wants to golf in this tournament, Mark Blask and some of his friends, please go ahead and visit herkimercountychamber.com, and down below you'll see the golf event, and you'll be able to check on that too.
Awesome.
We also are having a business after hours on August 18th.
Always a fan.
Mohawk. Yes, you love your business after hours. This is our biggest one of the year. Mohawk does a beautiful job. They have hamburgers, hot dogs, sausage, whatever.
And last year you recognized people there.
We did, yeah, because of the pandemic, of course. We couldn't have a big, annual meeting where we recognized
correct.
Dave Casulo last year, Twin Rivers, and the Herkimer County IDA.
Okay.
So this year we're going back to more of a traditional business after hours, but it's just a fun,
Perfect.
Honestly, it's a really fun event to attend. So
That's a cool spot too, right there in Mohawk.
It is, yeah. It's a place you see them driving by, but you don't realize most of them are volunteers too,
Sure.
and it's a really cool place to check out. But so I just wanted to say those things about what's going on at the chamber, and I want to thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate the invite. It was really a lot of fun.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Again, we took a couple
course.
weeks of hiatus because of summer, but I know we'll have you again.
Awesome.
Sure
I really appreciate it. And everybody out there, just come check out Little Falls. We got Canal Days next weekend, a lot of events going on, drive through. There's a lot to see and do. And we appreciate when you do that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. And as always, if you have any questions or thoughts, please contact the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce, 315-866-7820. We're happy to take all of your recommendations for any topics that come up.